Randy Gordon, and we want to review some of the key fights of the night. First of all, the impressive Louis Espinoza easily taking care of Carmelo Negron. And Randy, your thoughts of Espinoza?
I think he's a world champion, a future world champion. He's got the shot coming up against the very talented champion, Victor Callejas of Puerto Rico. What a fight that one's going to be. I'm not just saying that. This is going to be one of those Hagler-Hearns kind of fights.
And what about Floyd Peavy, who was very impressive as well?
Well, you've got to look at him fighting some of the top contenders right away almost. And one of the fights that comes to mind is a fight against Mark Breland, say within the next year or so.
Well, certainly sometimes the big-name fighters don't provide the big blow of the evening. Richard Brownrigg will go away with that title tonight.
No question about it. He just launched the punch. He said, no, that was my best punch. He said, it's my favorite punch. Maybe it was, and we're going to see a lot more of him. Fight fever in New York City.
And earlier tonight, we also had a first-round KO with Mark Weinman winning the junior middleweight bout.
And Mark Weinman going to be a future star right here at the Fell Forum. I've just got the fever.
All right, it's been a good night of boxing at the Fell Forum. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll come back to the Fell Forum with more. Breland, five-time Golden Gloves champion, fighting in a very familiar place, Madison Square Garden.
Mark Breland is getting better and better as a professional. I think when he fights here at the Fell Forum, he is just going to look incredible. I think Mark will one day be welterweight champion of the world. I think he's that good. One of the greatest amateurs ever, now on his way to becoming an outstanding professional.
All right, what about his opponent for the May 15th card?
The man is from Texas. He's a very tough man, but how much chance can you give just about anybody who steps in the ring against Breland? I do know this. I've seen him. He tries. That's all you can ask for. Who knows? Upset that night. I doubt it. But let's just look at Breland. He's a future champ.
And also on May 15th, Gina Gillermino and Paul Divorce.
Well, Gino Gillermino, the man who looks like Billy Joel, dances around the ring. He fights. He's a very fast-footed, lead-footed, fast-handed boxer. He's going against Paul Divorce. That should be a real fine fight.
So the double G alliteration, not an easy one to pronounce, but he should be tough in the ring. That's May 15th at Madison Square Garden, and Mark Breland returning, and we look forward to that bout as well. Back with more. So on a night when Louis Espinoza showed his outstanding boxing ability with a win over Carmelo Negron, we thank you.
Inside as Vinny Pazienza, the Pazmanian Devil, takes on the former IBF lightweight champion Harry Arroyo. And Marlon Starling defends his title against one of the class acts in boxing, Johnny.
By round announcement of the scoring. That allows the fighters to know, of course, if they're ahead or behind, and it changes the strategy.
Well, a fighter other than more so than any other athlete is a different kind of person, and what motivates a fighter is so many different things. So in between rounds, if you find out what the score is, it might pep up a fighter a little bit. It might put somebody down. I think it's good for the public, but I think it'll bring out better fights for the fighters and for the public, because I know if I'm losing and I know about it, I'm going to fight harder, and I think it's going to bring out better fights for both boxers and the public to watch.
So, coming up on ringside, Vinny Pazienza, the Pazmanian Devil, against Harry Arroyo. You got to love those nicknames. We'll now send you out tomorrow.
This is what we call here Pazmania. Right now, it's only in Rhode Island, but after this fight, after I knock out Harry Arroyo, it's going to be all over the United States.
The Pazmanian Devil, that ferocious creature who attacks and shows no mercy. Vinny Pazienza enjoys this nickname. And with 15 knockouts and 18 fights, who can argue? He'll have the packed house here in Providence, Rhode Island on their feet when he meets the former IBF lightweight champion, Harry Arroyo. It'll be Vinny Pazienza and Harry Arroyo today on ringside. A crowd of better than 10,000 at the Civic Center, Providence, Rhode Island. Most of them are here to root for Vinny Pazienza, the pride of Cranston, Rhode Island. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert and the Fight Doctor, Ferdy Pacheco, and we have a boxing doubleheader coming up here on NBC. First on ringside, it will be Vinny Pazienza going up against the one-time IBF lightweight champion, Harry Arroyo. And later on Sports World, it'll be Marlon Magic Man Starling defending his USBA welterweight title against the former WBA junior welterweight champ, Johnny Bum City Bumpus. And Ferdy, similar to last week, once again, the judges' scores will be announced round by round, and of course we'll be passing them on to our NBC audience.
With one exception, because the officials felt there were so many people going to be here rooting for Pazienza, it would be unfair to his opponent and to the judges. The public here will not know the score. The fighters will, and so will our NBC audience.
All right, Pazienza and Arroyo. We have a fighter in Vinny Pazienza who is on the way up. Arroyo, there are question marks, perhaps looking to prevent a slide.
Well, I think the biggest question mark is how Vinny passes his first test, because when you talk to him, he's so cocky. He has such confidence. He's talking about championships. Well, there are a lot of surprises on the way to the championships, and one of them could be Harry Arroyo, an ex-champion that packs a hard punch.
And Harry Arroyo making his way toward the ring. Coming out of his dressing room, 28 years old, out of Youngstown, Ohio, also the hometown of Ray Boom Boom Mancini. Arroyo at 29-2, 23 by knockout. His last fight, March 19th, an 8th round KO of Paul Graham. And Arroyo has won his last 3 by knockout since he was stopped by Sammy Fuentes in the 7th round last October, but hasn't looked impressive. So today is a major test, and he is doing it on the road. Very much so, with Vinny Pazienza, a huge favorite here in Providence. All right, Arroyo making his way to the ring. What about this pro-Pazienza crowd? Is Arroyo concerned about it? We asked him.
I've never been in this situation, but a professional learns how to block everything out of his mind and get in there, because there's only 2 people in there, just you and your opponent, and the 10,000 people or whoever are on the outside of the ring.
And Arroyo's opponent, Vinny Pazienza, getting set to make his way, and this crowd will react when they get their first glimpse at the 22-year-old out of Cranston, Rhode Island, coming in as the Cape Man. All right, here he comes. The 5'7" fireball who is in perpetual motion. Vinny Pazienza, who sold out the Civic Center in Providence back in early February when he stopped Joe Frazier Jr. in the 7th round, drawing the largest boxing crowd in New England history. Vinny Pazienza, Harry Arroyo getting set, and we'll go to the ring announcer. Here's Frank Carpano.
Ladies and gentlemen, next up, a 10-round lightweight fight. First, the judges for this fight: Walter Stone, Philip Addison, and Harry Thomas. The referee, the man in charge, Tony Perez. Now the boxers. First, in the red corner, from Youngstown, Ohio, weighing in at 134 3/4 pounds, Harry Arroyo. And now in the blue corner, from Cranston, Rhode Island, weighing in at 136 pounds, Vinny the Tasmanian Devil Pazienza.
Vinny Pazienza's biggest victory was last November, a 2nd-round knockout of Melvin Paul, a world-ranked contender the past 2 years. Paul at one time the only man to defeat Tyrone Crawley.
Lou, is there any question at this moment?
And there you see the 3-inch height advantage for Arroyo, and the reach advantage. Referee Tony Perez, and the judges Walter Stone, Philip Addison Jr., and Harry Thomas from the Rhode Island Racing and Athletic Commission. The scoring on the 5-point bus system, 3 knockdown rule in effect. So 3 knockdowns in 1 round, fight is over. There is a standing 8 plus the mandatory 8, and the bell does not save the fighter except in the final round. And this one is scheduled for 10, and we will be passing on the judges' scores following each round. The fighters will also be told of the scoring, but it will not be announced to the crowd. This is round one. Pazienza in the white with his back to you, facing Harry Arroyo.
Look for the superior speed of Pazienza early, but the knockout power of Harry Arroyo and the experience. He's been a champion.
Arroyo has been a slow starter, though. He admits that he's often blown the first few rounds, although you may recall against Robin Blake, one of his bigger wins, he started quickly and then he tired in the later rounds. It's the first part of a boxing doubleheader here on NBC. Marlon Starling and Johnny Bumpus coming up on Sports World later on.
See the difference in height. Arroyo very tall compared to the shorter Vinny Pazienza. Vinny has not started in his whirlwind fashion. There goes 3 jabs in a row, which up to this point he's just been sort of carefully feeling out Harry Arroyo. Arroyo looking to land something very hard. He threw a very hard uppercut, looking to unload that right hand.
And Pazienza has his right hand cocked, ready to go. Halfway through this opening round, these are lightweights scheduled for 10. Although Vinny Pazienza has also been fighting as a junior welterweight, moving up from the lightweight ranks. Oh, good right hand by Pazienza. And he has Arroyo hurt, although Arroyo looking to laugh it off. And the crowd is sensing that Arroyo could be in danger. We have a minute remaining in this first round, but Pazienza landing that effective right hand.
That's a point builder, but it wasn't as effective as people thought it was. They rose to the occasion. Harry covered up nicely, and he was punching when the referee, Tony Perez, broke them up.
And Arroyo countering.
2 good shots by Arroyo. This young, energetic kid will not take him too cheaply. He's put in 2 hard shots.
Pazienza measuring and then firing. Coming up on 10 seconds left. First round. We'll be back right after these words. In the corner of Harry Arroyo between rounds is trainer Richard Giacchetti telling Harry there's no problem, there's no problem. You get the idea he was trying to convince himself as much as his fighter.
Richard is dispensed from telling the truth while he's working in corners. Giacchetti's one of the good motivators in boxing, and he knows sometimes you got to lie a little bit. There is a problem. The problem's named Vinny Pazienza, and he has outspeeded him for the first round.
And the judges' scorecards, unanimous 5-4 round in favor of Pazienza. Scoring on the 5-point plus system. There it is, all 3 judges going the 5-4 route. Pazienza landing the best blow of that first round, a strong right hand that did stagger Arroyo.
And fighting much, much more than Arroyo. His combinations are crisp, and he's an energy package. He is really fighting with a lot of energy. Whether he can keep that up for 10 rounds, if Arroyo can stick around, is what this fight's all about. As you mentioned at the top of the show, Arroyo just starts slow, but then he starts coming on in the middle. That figures to be about the time that this, good right hand by Pazienza. That figures to be about the time that Pazienza starts to wear out.
It's past the halfway mark. Second round scheduled for 10. Pazienza, who drew a crowd of better than 13,000 here in early February, as he stopped Joe Frazier Jr. in round number 7, has created quite a bit of excitement here in Rhode Island. He's out of Cranston. He's 22 years old. record of either 18-0 or 18-1, depending on which theory you subscribe to. He did fight in Italy back in December of '84, a fight that was ruled at one point no contest. It was stopped because of a deep gash on his face. However, there are some who feel that the no contest was eradicated. So it depends who you talk to.
Well, that'll be solved in the next month or two, but it's almost academic here. This kid is on a roll, is Vinny Pazienza. He fights with a lot of energy, dynamic.
Nearly got caught, but able to spin away. And you notice Pazienza from time to time will use the ropes. He'll put his hand on the rope and try to spin away, and that'll show his face to his opponent. We've seen that in the past, and he nearly got caught just a moment ago. Coming up to the end of round 2. And here's Vinny Pazienza out for round number 3 to meet up with Harry Arroyo. And Pazienza now stepping it up.
Well, that's dangerous because he cuts. Pazienza cuts, as we have seen. You get into that wild kind of street fighting in close. You bump heads, and bingo, you're starting to look at red blood.
Scoring of the second round for the judges. 2 had it as 5-4 for Pazienza, and 1 had it as an even round.
So the crowd, no factor to at least one judge. I had it a 5-4 round. He's ahead 2 rounds to nothing as far as I'm concerned.
Harry Arroyo's tall for a lightweight at 5'10", a counterpuncher, likes to try and control the fight with that left jab, and does have a solid right hand.
If he lands that solid right and Vinny takes it, then you're looking at a fighter that's on the way up. That's what we don't know. Vinny's chin yet. He is in with a guy that's got that one-punch knockout power, though.
That is the composite scoring through 2 rounds, and there was an error in the scoring passed on to us in the second round. 2 of the judges had it, as we said, 5-4. The other had it as 5-3, a decisive round for Pazienza rather than the even. That was a correction. 5-3.
Then that crowd is affecting one of the judges. 5-3 round, he should have just absolutely destroyed Arroyo. He certainly didn't do it now.
Certainly a knockdown round, right?
At least. A good hook by Pazienza then. Pazienza is very busy and looking good. He's got a lot of hot dog moves. He's a showboat. He loves the crowd. He loves to perform. But as he gets in taller and bigger competition, he's going to have to get rid of some of that hot dog in him.
Pazienza balancing off the ropes to land and comes in hard with another right hand. Winding up and firing, but the crowd overreacting because that last right hand just grazed Arroyo.
But he is in control of the fight. He's energetic, he's explosive, and he's pleasing this crowd. Right now, Harry apparently content to wait for that one good shot.
Final seconds. Round 3. Pazienza again, able to land. We'll be back in a moment.
Don't try to take his play. You get off with your punches. Keep the jab, you start and finish with it. When he gets wild, you just step in and throw your straight 1-2s too. You know what I mean? Don't wait on this kid. You can't let him get set. You got to keep going, all right?
Richie
Don't wait on him. Let him do it.
In the corner of Harry Arroyo. And there's Lou Duva with some instructions.
Come on.
For Vinny Pazienza. This is round number 4. It's been Pazienza carrying the fight over the first 3. And round 3 was scored all in favor of Pazienza as expected. 5-4, 5-4, and again a 5-3 judgment.
Well, that guy 5-3 should have his criterion reevaluated. one factor that's kept common in all 3 rounds is Giacchetti has not mentioned the score. He knows what the score is. He has not told Arroyo that he's blown every round.
And that is the official scoring over the first 3 rounds. Pazienza again landing the right, did not have much on it though.
But the speed of Pazienza is far superior to Arroyo. Arroyo beginning to take some good punishment in the last 2 or 3 rounds.
Arroyo looking to catch Pazienza with a counter. You hear that from Richie Giacchetti in the background?
He's right. Sooner or later, Perez has got to warn him he cannot do that. You can't use the ropes. You cannot lean on them to use offensively, and you certainly can't grab them with a glove.
And that has been the style of Pazienza. And this has also been the style of Pazienza. Uppercuts, right hand, left hand, combinations being landed by Pazienza.
Pazienza's team off on Harry Arroyo.
That's time remaining in the round. And again, Arroyo attempting to counter, but not able to connect off the quicker Pazienza.
Well, there's a saying in boxing, be first, and that's what Arroyo is not being. He is letting Pazienza dictate the fight totally, and he's only trying to react to that flurry of punches, which is getting him points, getting Pazienza points galore.
Good exchange.
Harry Arroyo beginning to swell up around the eyes. A little trickle of blood coming out from under a lump under the right eye.
Another solid round for Vinny Pazienza. This is round 5 and some repair work around the eyes of Harry Arroyo between rounds.
Just as that round ended, he opened a good cut. It's not a good cut, it's a nick over the left eye. Pazienza going back to work.
And he's opened the cut again, this one under the right eye. All right, there it is.
That's the nick over the left, under the right eye. As we mentioned before, it's beginning to drip again. Got a good cut man in Richard Giacchetti, but he's got to work on both eyes. His twin brother, Bobby's working a corner with him. And they've got their work cut out. Not yet have they mentioned what the scores were in this fight. They don't want to depress Arroyo.
Well, we can tell you that in round 4, 2 of the judges had it 5-4 for Pazienza. And the other judge had it as 5-3. So the last 3 rounds, Pazienza has had at least one judge scoring at 5-3 his way, although there has not been a knockdown.
Well, I'm amazed by that, but again, Pazienza using the ropes to his benefit, this time legally.
Referee Tony Perez working the fight. Crowd of better than 10,000 here at the Civic Center in Providence. Only Bruce Springsteen has drawn better than Vinny Pazienza here at the Civic Center.
Well, Vinny can't sing like Bruce Springsteen, but Springsteen hasn't got what this kid's got, which is a good left and a good right hand, and his crowds are going to be phenomenal if he keeps winning with this kind of performance.
Strong body blows, and then he went for the home run.
Vinny's won every round. He looks just as fresh as he did in the first round. A depressing fact for Harry Arroyo.
And Arroyo looks spent right now. Cuts under both eyes and taking a pounding with less than a minute to go in this 5th round.
This may well be the end of Harry Arroyo as far as a fight career, because he's taking a pounding. Perez keeping a sharp eye on the situation. Arroyo does not seem to have anything on his punches. while. Oh, a good right hand by Arroyo.
15 seconds remaining in this 5th round. And again, a decisive round for Pazienza. And one good right hand landed by Arroyo. That was round 6 after these messages.
Okay? Open your mouth. Let go, buddy. You got to keep your jab working and go with him. You got to keep it going. You hear me? You all right? Keep it going. You keep with it. Don't let overhand rights too, honey.
Harry actually thinking, hey, if I can stand in here for this round. Forget about the overhand right as we open up in round number 6. It's been all Vinny Pazienza. He is in the white and Arroyo in the brown. And in round number 5, one judge, listen to this one, Bertie. One judge had it 5-4. These are the official scoring totals. One had it 5-3, and one judge scored it 5-2.
And that judge is the same one that keeps scoring it 5-3. So I guess eventually we'll get to a 5-0 round, at which point they'll just come in and shoot Harry Arroyo.
Well, the scoring philosophy is obviously a little bit different here in the state of Rhode Island. And that is the composite through 5 rounds. That's the official scoring.
Well, it's a good thing that Pazienza is so far in control that there's no question as to who's winning this fight. He's won every round. However, had it been a closer fight, that kind of disparity in scores would raise a lot of hackles and a lot of questions. Tape now coming off the glove of Arroyo. It's been coming off since the last round. Nice way to buy about 10 or 15 seconds.
It's a timeout. Tony Perez telling Vinny Pazienza to move into the neutral corner.
One more. Okay, that's it. One more.
And Perez,
Okay, go.
happy with the speed of the repair work of Rich Giacchetti.
Well, he should have taken care of that between rounds, but Rich is a very smart boxing man. He takes every advantage he can for his fighter, which is what he should do. Beginning to be a one-way street, a one-way beating. I think Arroyo is right around the corner from the point of no return.
No knockdowns in the bout. Pazienza has landed some crushing blows, and he did right in the first round. He staggered Arroyo. He is well in front on the scorecard. He has it all going his way. This is round 6.
And now Pazienza decided to play and bounce around a little bit, catching a breather, letting his arms rest, as well he should.
Now Pazienza measuring, looking to set up that right hand. First part of a boxing doubleheader here on NBC. Later on Sports World, Johnny Bunk City Bumpus and Marlon the Magic Man Starling. That'll be a welterweight bout. There goes the mouthpiece. And according to Rhode Island rules, the official calls for time and they allow the mouthpiece to be put back, although the fans are booing, but that is a rule here in the state of Rhode Island. It's a timeout that's been called. Time back in.
That's a similar rule to California. It's been criticized a lot because if you're behind taking a pounding, you can spit out your mouthpiece and get some time.
On to round 7. Marv Albert with the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco. We're at the Civic Center, Providence, Rhode Island. Harry Arroyo had an additional visitor to his corner between rounds.
Yeah, they called in Eddie Aliano, the veteran cut man, and that is sort of admitting defeat and calling for a consultation with a specialist. Richard Giacchetti apparently couldn't take care of all of the work. There's 2 cuts, the nose is bleeding, he's got cuts inside the mouth, and he asked for Eddie Aliano to come up.
Judges scoring round 6. One had it 5-4, and 2 of the judges had it as a 5-3. Judges working the bout: Walter Stone, Philip F. Addison Jr., and Harry Thomas. And that is the total through 6 rounds.
That's awesome. 30-18. I have it 30-24, and that is unofficial. Again, of note, the score has not been mentioned, Harry Arroyo.
Somehow I get the idea. Who knows?
He's not asking either.
And the crowd getting back into it. There's the hand on the rope once again.
Boy, is he ever going to get hammered doing that. He does that against a good fighter that's right into the ball game, and he can be on the seat of his pants before he knows it. Harry Arroyo punching, but there's nothing behind his punches.
And again, Pazienza able to connect. Left hand and a right hand by Pazienza. And once again, Arroyo staggered and in trouble. Tony Perez, the referee, taking a long look. Perez looks to be close to stepping in.
He could well give him a standing 8 count here, and nobody would argue with it in this place, because he's getting hammered is Harry Arroyo.
There is time left in the 7th round. Oh, Arroyo able to recover.
Well wet. Bobby, cut
Well, at
the
this
tape on it.
moment,
Where's your mouthpiece?
talking in the corner of Harry
Harry,
Arroyo.
you gotta
They're
keep
just
one straight,
concerned with
1-2s,
the
Harry.
repair work. That's the cut
Keep
man
him up,
Eliano we mentioned earlier.
Oh, here, wait, hold it,
And Tony Perez calling for time. Again, there's some loose tape on the right-hand glove of Arroyo. Round 7 was scored 5-4, 5-3, and 5-2.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So Pazienza continues to pull away on the scorecard in what has become a rout. The crowd reacting again, feeling their stalling tactics being employed. There's Pazienza going. What about Arroyo? Pazienza looking to wrap it here in the 8th.
That is an all-out attack to end it by Vinny Pazienza. Maybe too early, but Harry Arroyo is a wasted fighter.
And a look at the scorecard through 7 rounds. This has become academic.
Yes, this is absolutely of no interest to either fighter right now. They both know that Arroyo is way ahead. The only thing of academic interest is its lack of importance in the corner to the fighters themselves and this disparity of 5-2, 5-3 rounds. I correct myself, Vinny Pazienza is way ahead. I misspoke.
Never. The left hooks of Pazienza landing on Arroyo. And again, the tape on the glove of Arroyo loose, and the crowd reacts. This is the 3rd time there's been a tape problem. And he lost his mouthpiece earlier.
No, Richie's not known for being the most extravagant man in boxing. He buys used tape a lot. I see. It's used new tape.
Okay, I'm coming.
Richie, by the way, if you want to see something peculiar, has his twin brother working a corner. The truthful one, called Giacchetti the Truthful, as opposed to...
Are you calling Giacchetti peculiar?
No, not peculiar. He just has a nodding acquaintance to the truth when it comes to working in corners with boxing.
Whoa. White Doctor lashing out. Richie Giacchetti has also been in the corners of Aaron Pryor and Larry Holmes. And again, a cut under the right eye of Arroyo, who has had nothing on his punches since earlier in the bout. But we have not had a knockdown. Despite the fact that Pazienza's been all over Arroyo, he has not been able to put him down.
What we have seen is one thorough beating by a young man at the hands of another young man on the way out. Arroyo had the title, he lost, he's had a small comeback, and this may put a definitive period to his career.
Arroyo trying to make it back from the knockout by Sammy Fuentes last October. Has not looked impressive, although he has won his last 3 by KO. Back with round 9 after this. Harry Arroyo, from a family of 16 children, 28 years old, from Youngstown, Ohio. Record of 29-2, 23 by knockout, but has had a very difficult time of it against 22-year-old Vinny Pazienza, the favorite here in Providence from Cranston, Rhode Island. Record of 18-1, 15 by knockout. And on the scorecard, round 8, one judge had it 5-4, 2 had it 5-3. So for those of you who may have just tuned in, it's man in white, Vinny Pazienza, decisively ahead on the scorecard. There it is. Look at that, 40-23 on one card.
That's incredible. That's an incredible score. Well, no question about it. It's academic what the numbers are, but had this been a close fight, you wonder at the partisanship of the judges to score that kind of a fight. I think we'll see much more of the importance of scoring when you have two equal fighters like Starling and Bumpus who are going to be trading rounds and points. Then it's going to be interesting to see how they vary their tactics.
That is coming up on Sports World, and during the course of that fight, the judges' scores will be announced to the crowd by the ring announcer on the public address. They are not being announced here because they felt it might not be a good idea that it is such a pro-Pazienza crowd. Although they look to experiment with the announcement of the scoring, they felt it might be a bit risky in this type of fight.
I agree with them in that case, and I think there should be some kind of variety to the system. So far, we've seen 3 different experiments. All 3 of them worked pretty well so far. Oh, winging shot by Pazienza that missed. He's looking a little tired and a little bit careless right now. And the handsome face of Harry Arroyo is now beginning to be a mask of blood and lumps and bumps, and it's not nice to look at.
A little showboating here by Pazienza, stutter stepping.
He reached for the ropes and they weren't there. He missed it by about a foot. Incidentally, it's a very big ring and a very fast ring, much to the advantage of Pazienza as we have seen.
Half minute to go. 9th round, scheduled for 10. No knockdowns, but Pazienza has been in command. And from the corner of Arroyo, they're screaming at him, Pazienza's tired.
Good right hand by Harry Arroyo just said, but had nothing on it. Had that been in the earlier rounds, boy, could that have made a difference.
Body block technique by Pazienza to end the night.
Come on, baby. You got to do it, baby. You got to do it. You hear it, Harry? Dig deep. Dig down in, Harry. You can knock him out. You go for it. You're a champion. Go for it. But don't wait. You can't wait and go straight back. You hear me? Come on, Harry. Dig down. Dig down. Let's go,
You
baby.
can knock him out.
Dig down, all right,
Harry
baby?
Arroyo is told.
All right.
As we get set for this 10th
Dig down. He's tired, too.
and final
He's
round
tired,
from
too.
the Civic Center in Providence. Better than 10,000 on hand. Marv Albert with the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco. And Harry Arroyo needs a knockout. Round 9 going to Pazienza by the count of 5-4, 5-3, and one judge had it even.
At last, an honest man in Providence.
Oh, you can't really dispute.
No, I cannot dispute that last round I thought was borderline even. I thought Pazienza won at 5-4. I am kidding about an honest man in Pazienza in Providence, because all these people are honest. It's just their opinion that their local champion is winning 5-3 and 5-2 rounds. When Richard says you can knock this guy out, is that a bit of Hollywood that he got from working for Sylvester Stallone for the past 2 years? Or is he serious?
Yes, he does go for the dramatic. Now the crowd chanting for Vinny Pazienza. Less than 2 minutes remaining in the fight. Harry Arroyo, one-time IBF lightweight champion, won that crown by stopping Charlie Choo-Choo Brown back in April of '84. Successfully defended twice, then lost to Jimmy Paul. Defended his title by stopping Charlie White Lightning Brown. Ooh. And then Terrence Ali in a good bout.
Harry has given some thrilling moments. He's had good fights on television. I think he should pack in his career here. This young man has met his test. They gave him a tough test with Harry Arroyo. He has met it with flying colors, winning every round. And barring some disaster, he should take this fight. Oh! Solid hook by Pazienza put Arroyo in trouble.
And that's time remaining in the bout. We're down to 50 seconds. Arroyo looking to conclude on his feet. Down to 40 seconds.
Harry Arroyo, a brave warrior, being carried by pride to try to finish his fight without getting knocked out. And Pazienza finishing big, certainly fulfilling all the credentials of an aspiring contender. He is now to be taken seriously.
Coming up on 10 seconds left in the fight. So it's Vinny Pazienza with a bell-to-bell decisive victory here over Harry Arroyo. Edison will be back to talk with Vinny Pazienza after these words. 22-year-old Vinny Pazienza from Cranston, Rhode Island, has just won by decision over Harry Arroyo. We know that because we have been collecting the judges' scorecards round by round and passing them on, but we'll get the official announcement of the scoring in just a moment. Now we're set. Let's go to the ring. Here's Frank Carpano.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a unanimous decision. Judge Stone scores it 49-41. Judge Thomas scores it 50-29. And Judge Addison scores it 49-38 for the winner in the blue corner, Vinny Pazienza.
So Vinny Pazienza, who began boxing at the age of 7, continued for 4 years, then drifted from the sport, claims at the age of 15 after seeing the movie Rocky, the boxing fire inside of it was rekindled, continues the success. Record now 19-1, 15 by knockout, and he has won by decision over Harry Arroyo. Let's go to the ring. Here's the fight doctor.
You met your challenge very well. Did you think he was going to be that tough?
Well, to be honest with you, I didn't, but I couldn't take anything away from him. World champion, his record speaks for himself. He's a beautiful person, and I'd just like to say, Mr. Arroyo, your son's fine, your your husband. He's fine. He's a beautiful person, gentleman. Everyone loves him.
Were you disappointed you didn't get a knockout? You were trying awfully hard.
I tried hard, but I couldn't do it. I wanted to please the people of Rhode Island, but that's okay. In the long run, it's going to help me out.
Did you know that the judges were scoring 5-2 and 5-3 rounds for you through that?
I think that was just about right. Harry fought a good fight, but I think that's just about what it should have been called. I could have fought a little better, but I didn't. More credit to Harry Arroyo. Whoever comes into the Devil's Den is going to go home a loser. I don't care whether it be Hector Camacho or Livingston Bramble.
Very good. And with that blast of confidence, we send it back to Marv Albert at ringside.
All right, words from the Tasmanian Devil. And a nice hand for Harry Arroyo as he left the ring and headed back to his dressing room. Vinny Pazienza, who is the big crowd favorite up here in the New England area, drawing some 10,000 to the Civic Center in Providence. Frank Sinatra was here Friday night. I mentioned earlier only Bruce Springsteen has done better indoors in Rhode Island than Vinny Pazienza. So Pazienza, the 5'7" fireball in perpetual motion with his 19th professional victory. 15 have come by knockout. We'll be back here in Providence right after we pause for this. With a